Hello, everybody. This is Why We Click, the emerging science of interpersonal synchrony by Kate Murphy. We all know someone who can read a room, someone who can't read others at all, made friends instantly with someone, or admired someone's social ease, or have read somebody's body language from across the room. What is going on when we meet people, when we feel comfortable building a relationship or repulsed by toxic behavior? How is it that some friends can have a whole conversation just via eye contact? This book sets out to explore why we click and what's really going on in how we relate to each other. It's all about interpersonal synchrony. Kate Murphy is the author of You're Not Listening, which has been made required reading in some universities and colleges across the globe. She's a journalist known for her accessible, readable style and has written for New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and The Economist, amongst other publications. The chapters in this book are highly detailed and researched and cover different areas of interpersonal relationships and how we sync, like immediately syncing and attraction with people, synchronous activities, social contagion, interoception, energy vampires, interspecies relationships like pets, mirror neurons, and why we connect with characters and creators. I loved this book, straight up. That's easy to say. I loved this book. I've already made 2 of my friends read it and have been kind of pushing it on people. I find the way we think and how our brains work just fascinating. So this was a huge page turner for me. The book explores how we are all tuning forks, which allow us to do more together than we can alone. We're basically wired to survive in community and can only survive that way, as much as we might like to think otherwise. Our bodies and minds are so wired for this that it can impact our health or even be hacked or tricked by bad actors. In environments like authoritarian families or cultures and spaces like cults, that kind of thing, our brains need to sync and mirror are hijacked so that we sync in toxic ways in order to survive the situation. So yeah, it kind of is funny to me because I'm like, basically it means if you're somebody that calls yourself an alpha or an alpha human, that's antithetical to the way we survive and thrive. So it's not the flex you think it is. It's kind of saying, you're devolving. It can be uncomfortable to realize how influenced and permeable we are, how swayed by fashion and outside ideas. And also, while we might not like to admit it about ourselves, AI and apps, political movements, and marketing industries are all hiring neuroscientists for their own benefit to greater hack the human need to sync, to mirror, to belong. Yeah. The more we understand ourselves and each other, the more we can protect ourselves, make better decisions, but also be gentler and more understanding with each other, because after all, we are all human. So quite a few things in this book were interesting to me because it talked about things I've noticed, just sort of anecdotally in relating or relationships, but I didn't know, the why, the science behind what was happening. That thing where you can tell immediately if you like someone or not, to the point, also like people will have a list of what they're looking for in a partner. And then when they meet them in person, they'll choose someone who doesn't meet that criteria at all. So I find that so funny how we just we read so much from people. Yeah. So I also really like the way that fictional people, like characters in plays and books and TV shows and stuff, they can have a huge impact on our lives. They can change our lives. And reading reading a book is incredibly good for you. Like, things are happening in your brain. It's so cool. And I've always felt that, one bad apple in a situation, I've always felt like that was kind of dangerous to me. I've always had really strong boundaries around just not letting sort of negative and toxic people into my space, not in a malicious way, just in a I think that can be really bad, basically. And yeah, this book talks about studies where negativity, belligerence hugely impact group settings, and that sort of negative people have a much greater impact than positive people. Although positive people, if you're positive, that can actually ripple outwards in fascinating ways. So it's just such a great book. Like, it just has all these different things that it kind of goes into and just the way we function. It's so fascinating to me. So yeah, it's a truly fabulous book. So interesting. Sometimes slightly terrifying. It confronts what it means to be human and how much choice we really have, how controllable we are. Even those of us who think we're aware and think, we're not like that. It can happen to anybody because that's how our brains work. It's how we're wired. So in some ways, we're not what we think we are. We are so malleable. And yet, by truly knowing ourselves and how we work, we can understand ourselves better, make better choices, have better boundaries, and of course, have better relationships with each other. I just think that's so cool. So yeah, I guess the subject matter of this might not appeal to everybody. I know like nonfiction can kind of be that way. But if you find relationships or psychology interesting, like definitely get your hands on this book. I do think that everyone could benefit from knowing more about this subject. Even if you didn't maybe want to read the whole book, or maybe if you're not somebody that likes to read nonfiction, get the audiobook. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating, people. So thank you to Celadon for the ARC of this book. And I'd just like to kind of shout out Celadon for a second here because really consistently, Celadon don't publish a huge number of books, but really consistently lately, if it's a Celadon book and they're like, hey, would you be interested in an ARC to review it? I'm going to always say yes, because even if it's not my subject matter in some way, like if it's something I'm always interested, and it's always so well written, well researched, like it's really good quality. So yeah, just wanted to shout out Celadon because I know a little bit recently there's been some things happening in the publishing world with a lowering of quality and that kind of thing, and Celadon stands out. So love you guys. I'm not just saying that because they sent me an ARC. I don't have to say that. I don't have to say nice things, but yeah. So let me know if you've read this book and what you thought, or if this kind of stuff interests you. Have any thoughts? Comment section. I'll come have a chat with you guys there. And thank you for joining me. It's always good hanging out with you.